Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Principal Secretary for Sports, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mine will be very brief. First of all, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Oversight Board of Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund that SASDEF aims at increasing the diversity and supplement the budget of major sports events, the training of necessary technical personnel, and increasing the reward scheme to enhance the competitiveness of sportsmen and women. This will ensure the resources are allocated effectively and efficiently to foster a more inclusive and equitable environment for women and men in sports. While the sports fraternity in Kenya has made strides in promoting inclusivity and growth, the recent persistence of gender-based violence undermines these achievements. We must therefore prioritize policies that ensure equal funding, access to facilities and training programs to ensure our athletes, regardless of gender, thrive in an environment of equity, safety and dignity. We urge federations and stakeholders to adopt affirmative action strategies and ensure women are represented in decision-making roles and integrate GBV awareness and prevention into their training programs, creating a culture of zero tolerance. As I conclude, I want to assure you that the fund commits to supporting this Gender Protection and Implementation Committee towards achieving its goal and pave way for a more equitable and progressive future, whose every sports person, regardless of gender, could strive and contribute to nation sporting excellence. So, Waziri, I just want to mention that this is a milestone in the sporting industry because we have had cases of gender-based violence. Some athletes have lost their lives. We have had to incur expenses. We have had to incur, losing people who have been a source of national pride for this country because of this kind of violence. So it's a major milestone in this industry. On behalf of the Oversight Board and the SASDE Fund, we want to commit that we will support this cause so as to ensure that this group succeed in its mandate. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you very much, the CEO Sportsman, for making a speech on behalf of the CEOs, other CEOs present. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to invite the Principal Secretary, State Department of Sports, to make his speech and thereafter continue with the rest of the program. Let's give the PS a round of applause and he walks to the stage. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, SA, our Honorable Minister, Kipchumba Murkomen, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy. PS Madei representative, he was supposed to be here, but he sent an apology, Waziri. Mr. Eliud Kariuki, the Treasurer, National Olympics Committee. Ministry officials present, members of the Fourth Estate. And in a special way, let me also recognize the members of the Gender Protection and Implementation Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Waziri, it is my honor this morning to join you today in inaugurating the Gender Protection and Implementation Committee, which is a critical initiative in our collective journey towards ensuring dignity, equity, safety for all with the sports sector, in the sports sector and beyond. I have been given a speech here to read this morning, Waziri. But sometimes when you read a speech, it is like you are focusing on what must be said. But sometimes I like just talking from the heart because when I look at what we are inaugurating today, and we reflect and see what has been happening among the sports fraternity, i.e. the athletes themselves. And we also focus on what has been happening to the ladies and women specifically. I think we should be very happy as a ministry in thanking you for having thought it wise to bring this team together. Because we've seen these things happening to our women, the violence that has been meted on women, particularly from the sporting colleagues, and even outside. I don't want to mention what has been happening to the women athletes also from those that are supposed to have been protecting them. And being human beings who have sisters, we have children, we have, daughters and all this. You even wonder why it has taken us this long to be able to bring this team together, at least if for nothing else, to mitigate against the violence that our sisters, our girls have been going through. Then the second reason I want to thank you is that you just came in, is it over a month ago? And within that period of time, we are setting up this committee, meaning that what has been going on to these women athletes has been at the center of your heart. And therefore, the reason you called us to come here and inaugurate this team. Allow me just to spend a minute or two just to ask the team that is seated here today, the committee that has been formed, to ensure that you don't let down the CS and the ministry at large and the Republic of Kenya in that job that you've been given. Because other than being a job that you must do, it is something that must come from your heart. It is a job that you must have had a feeling to help. And I think that is the reason Waziri chose you people. Take it seriously and help this ministry stamp out this GBV. Waziri, because it is your meeting today, and you have reasons, and you've talked to all of us, come and talk to the nation as to why we decided as a ministry to go this route. But as you come, as a PS, who is the accounting officer in this ministry, I want to assure this team that we are going to give you all the assistance that you require, be it the financial, and that is why we had the CEO Sports Fund speak. And that is why also we brought the other CEOs here to bear witness that we are going to encourage ourselves to help you in any way possible to ensure that we stamp out this vice. Karibu Waziri, and speak to your people.
Asanteni sana. Thank you. Please be seated. Sorry. The Principal Secretary for Sports, the CEOs present, the committee herein established, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. We wanted to keep this meeting this simple, small, because today we are launching a committee, or we are unveiling the committee. We want to be more and be together with many more stakeholders when actually we are discussing the product of the committee. That will be more celebrated than just the committee. On 13th of October 2021, the life, dreams, and future of one of Kenya's fastest rising stars was shattered. At only 25 years of age, Agnes Tirop was already a force in the world of athletics. She was the world record holder in the 2021 10-kilometer women-only race, the 2012 and 2014 World Junior Championship bronze medalist, the 2012 and 2014 Africa Cross Country Championship
silver and gold medalists, respectively. The 2015 World Cross Country Championship gold medalist, 2017 and 2019 10,000 meters World Championship bronze medalist, and one of the youngest runners in the 5,000 meters race of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, where she finished the 4th. The brutal murder of Tirop at her home in Iten, barely a month after setting the world record in the women only 10-kilometer race in Germany, was a poignant reminder of the cataclysmic effects of gender-based violence in sports, and urgent need for heightened safety and security for our sportsmen and women. Tirop is not the only case of gender-based violence in the sports industry that has left our athletes maimed. She's not the only victim of the gender-based violence in sports industry. Some have been left maimed or killed in the hands of violent spouses. In 2022, Kenyan-born athlete Damaris Mutua was strangled to death by her boyfriend at their home in Iten. This year, Uganda women marathon record holder and Olympics marathoner Rebecca Cheptegei died from severe burns after she was doused in petrol and set alight by her ex-Kenyan boyfriend. Several other cases of gender-based violence have also been reported in many other sports in the country, where coaches, federation officials, and technical staff demand for sex for sportswomen as a prerequisite for consideration during team selection. I don't know if the men also face the same. Maybe they face and they don't report. Such profanity paints a grim picture of a talent-rich sports sector that's choking in the cesspool of discrimination, harassment, and violence. In such cases, teams are selected not based on who is best prepared in the competition, but what they can offer. The ripple effect of this is poor team selection, which sometimes result in very poor performance in competitions. The 2021 report on gender welfare and equity in sports revealed that 76% of team managers and technical staff are men, while 80% of sports federations are run by men. The report further revealed that 57% of sports persons interviewed admitted to having been subjected to sexual abuse more than 10 times. There are also reported cases of people posing as coaches, agents, and even sometimes pretending to be husbands, only to run away with female athletes' hard-earned wealth. This is a problem that needs urgent solution. And I just want to say this, to emphasize this. This is a big, big problem. And I know it in person because some of these ladies have confided in me as a person, even when I was a senator, that sometimes soon after their careers come to an end, or just before, or when their fortunes begin to dwindle in terms of in the race, some of these men who pretend to have been their coaches, spouses, husbands, partners, they quickly start running away with their wealth, registering their properties in their names. In fact, they force them to register their properties in their own names. And so they retire in poverty, having spent so much time investing in athletics. And I'm using athletics as an example because I come from Elgeyo Marakwet County, and we all know it is the home of champions, and because of athletics. And so because of that, I know people close to me, people known to me, people brought to me that have confided in me that these ladies very, very, very difficult times as they retire. So it's very emotional and very painful even to narrate their stories. And so as I've said, this one needs very, very urgent solutions. During my vetting before National Assembly on 4th of August this year, I promised to give impetus to the fight against the gender-based violence in sports which was started by then Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed in 2021, when she established the committee that did an investigation on matters of gender-based violence in sports, and which was chaired by none other than the great Catherine Dereba, who is here with us. And I thank you very much for a job well done. I promised then to create a conducive environment where sportsmen and sportswomen have equal chances to make history, break records, and win titles. I promised to create a space where sports is not looked at as an endeavor of the demand and the downtrodden, but a job like any other, where talent, hard work, and commitment can earn you a decent living. Today, with the inauguration of this Gender Protection and Implementation Committee, we begin the journey to delivering this very important promise. The formation of this committee speaks of the broader vision of His Excellency the President, which places equality and inclusivity from the bottom up at the core of the national development. The President's steadfast support for this cause reinforces our determination to build a society where everyone can pursue their dreams without fear of discrimination or violence. Further, it's of great significance that the inauguration of this committee coincides with the launch of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which is the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, running from today, 25th of November, to the 10th of December 2024. The committee will comprise of an advisory board, which I shall be chaired by the Cabinet Secretary, deputized by the Principal Secretary, and in due course of time, I will also be giving directions on how best this chairing and deputizing will be done, because of how busy the Cabinet Secretary is, and this responsibility can be seconded to one of the committee members to do so. And there will be no better person to do so than the lady who had done our own Catherine. As this office demands a lot of responsibilities for the time being, until we change perhaps by a gazette notice, transfer that responsibility to a representative of the Cabinet Secretary. The membership of the advisory board will be comprised of Ms. Catherine Dereba, who is a former world record holder, an Olympic Games silver medalist, and a former member of the 2021 Committee of Gender, Women and Equity in Sports. It will also include Professor Paul Ocheng. Is he here? Yes, Professor, please be upstanding. Professor Paul Ocheng is a former member of the committee, also the task force that was established in 2021. Please be seated. We have Barbara Maloa, a representative of the Law Society of Kenya. Were you my student? Yes, who was my student one time. I produced very good students. Even when I asked the Law Society of Kenya to give me a name, they gave me Barbara. And then we have Miss Essie Akida. You all know Essie, please clap for Essie. Essie is a striker in Kenya women's football team, Harambee Starlets. You all know her. And she did a very good job recently to launch her book, which I encourage most of us to read. I only, I've read the excerpts, but I'll also take time to read your book. Congratulations, Essie, for being a member of this team. I saw some people on social media are very happy with your appointment. And some were wondering whether you are now quitting your active career to join this committee. I want to assure them that it was important to have an active sports lady to be part of the committee. And you can participate in many ways as you engage your colleagues in sports, women in sports. You can start participating. You don't have to be physically here. You can also do it online with technology. Even if you go back to pursue your career back in Europe where you've been. Please clap for Hesi again. I have a bias towards football. We have Ms. Elizabeth Wangeshi Kishuki, who is a practitioner in this area. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And Ms. Joyce Kebene, I don't think she meant to be here, who is also an active participant in the society matters in terms of social development. And the other man, Mr. Benjamin Wafula, who is works in my office, but is also a staff of Kenya Academy of Sports, and worked with this task force in 2021. So it's a part of the institutional memory of this task force. I know we have only 2 men out of 12 people. We believe that going forward we should be incorporating more men who support women empowerment and who can fight gender-based violence. If we really have to deal with this issue, we must have men for women empowerment. We used to call it MAWE, men, not men against men for women empowerment. The Secretariat will have Ms. Diana Watila. Ms. Diana Watila here will be the Chief Executive Officer. I don't need to read her CV now, but I know her in person as a very committed human rights activist, and having worked with Police Oversight Authority, Independent Medical Legal Unit, FIDA, and now works with the Public Service in the Ministry of Housing, Lands Housing, and Public Works as a director. So it was very easy for me to speak to my colleagues in the ministry that she be transferred to do this responsibility, so we don't have to struggle with our presence in public service. Thank you, Diana, for being here. Catherine Jerry Minor. Is Catherine Jerry Minor? I don't know if she's here. Yes. Thank you very much, Catherine. Highly recommended also in this sector. Ms. Lorna Tanui. Thank you very much, Lorna. Lorna comes from the great county of athletes, but also a former member of the county assembly, and both in county assembly and also as a teacher. She has been passionate about women empowerment, and I hope her contribution also to this secretariat will be of great help. Ms. Vardosa Hassan Boru. Thank you very much, Ms. Vardosa. Highly recommended, having been also passionate in this area, especially among the marginalized women. And finally, Ms. Patricia Risi, who is a counselor, a therapist, actually. She says she's a therapist, and we need her and people of our profession to deal with, especially those who have been victims in this sector, but also in terms of helping each one of us who has gone through this trauma to be reintegrated in society. Thank you very much, Ms. Patricia Risi. You are the secretariat, so you have a role to play every day. I hope you appreciate that by accepting this responsibility in the secretariat, it will be your day-to-day job. The board may have as many meetings with you as possible, but you as the secretariat are going to have a strong and full-time responsibility. Among the deliverables for the committee is the full implementation of the 2022 report on gender welfare and equity in sports, the review and development of policies to curb gender-based violence in sports, development of a framework for multi-agency collaboration in dealing with gender-based violence in sports and sports organizations, and the advancement of gender mainstreaming in sports and sports organizations. They will also be required to facilitate institutional gender analysis and gender audits, provide a safe environment for sports persons to adequately prepare for and participate in sports competitions, assess gender-related initiatives, and evaluate their effectiveness with a view of bettering them, organize workshops and awareness campaigns to sensitize athletes and members of sports organizations about gender-related issues and unconscious bias, and facilitate gender mainstreaming in sports. These are not very easy responsibilities, very heavy, You will be auditing these organizations. You will be assisting them to make sure that they are mainstreaming gender equity in the sports sector. But more importantly, you will be a safe haven where our female athletes and male, if need be, will, as society changes, you know that men face violence, right? Yeah, you know that. You know that men face violence. You know that it is easy also to prey on young people who are men and athletes. So progressively, that must also be integrated, and an opportunity must be put in place to make sure that also men who face abuse and violence and they are in sports sector are protected. You must have noted that beside this committee, there are several other ongoing initiatives by the government, for non-governmental organizations, by the federations, by private companies who are working hard to make sure that we end gender-based violence in our country. These efforts are indicative of just how dire the situation is and why we need to hold hands and do whatever we can in our localities to help advance this noble cause. According to the 2022 report of the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, over 40% of women between the ages of 15 and 49 have experienced some form of physical violence, while 14% have been subjected to sexual violence. This is very serious. A recent report by the police showed that 97 femicide cases have been recorded in the past 3 months, with the Nairobi Women's Hospital Gender Violence and Recovery Center reporting 4,000 gender-based violence cases every month, and these are just the ones that we know of. It is through such initiatives that will enable us to make our country safe for our women and men and boost productivity in the many sectors of the economy. Just imagine how many 50% of the population being women, if they were going to be kept out by either gender-based violence or gender abuse or sexual abuse, and denying the country the potential that comes with half of its population. It's important that we confront this thing and this problem head on. And I have faith in the team that they are going to do so. I urge, therefore, this committee to reach out to different players in sports sector, including the media, civil society organizations, federations, corporate bodies, training camps, operators, development partners, and Kenyans of goodwill, and even co-opt some of them to the committee to enable the expeditious realization of the set mandate and resolution of GPV issues in sports sector. In conjunction with the Ministry of Interior, we will also be making sure that you create a toll-free number that will allow victims to anonymously report their cases in a way that they can be really be protected. I hope you guys know that this thing is very serious, yeah? Yeah, that violence is very serious among sports women. It's a very, very, very serious issue. I really hope everybody takes it to heart. Because it doesn't make sense to see what Agnes went through. I went to her funeral, and I really felt that it was terrible that at 25 years old, a 25-year-old potential lady who would have impacted the world, her life was just ended just like that. I think it is, you saw the case of Ms. Cheptegei the other day, you know, banning somebody because of disagreements, because of one reason or the other. This team has its work cut out, yeah? Not that you will do the work. The good thing is that you will not be the ones doing the work alone. You have the support of the federations, and you had the National Olympics Committee have assured you that they are going to work in partnership with you. AK is here, I believe FKF, rugby group, all these other groups will make sure that they give you the support. But NOC being the umbrella body, once you get the support, they will help you link to the federations. But remember that it's important to really take this thing very seriously, very seriously. And Diana, I have a lot of confidence in you, your stature, your experience. Then that gives you the opportunity to also have a link to the Attorney General's office, to the DPP's office, to Law Society, to the FIDA, and many other organizations that are really working in this sector. And being the first group, you have the whole world for you to write history and to shape this organization in the sports ministry to become the most active and productive department. Because we did this because it was going to take time to establish a department based on the public service procedure. So eventually, actually, we don't believe that your term will be more than 3 years. Part of what will be happening, the PS and the ministry will be now working on the structure to transfer this department to become a standalone department within the ministry. So this is a stopgap measure for the next 3 years. But slowly, we are establishing a department within the ministry. Then it will be part of the public service within the ministry. We are doing this for now. And that's why it was helpful to bring somebody at the level of a director in a ministry like yourself, because you understand the structure of public service. You will appreciate how to work with public service officials, not to appear to be running your own show outside there. You are mainstreamed within the ministry because the people from the accounts department, procurement department, and all the team that is going to support the legal department, that's going to support this committee, will be part and parcel of the ministry, and particularly the sports department, the ministry. We also brought the social and, sports, arts, and social development fund to be here, and I wanted the CEO to put it on record that he's going to support you because it's part of social development. And before we established this committee, we agreed with the PS that this is one of those fundable projects within the ministry that we should be able to support. So you guys, you have a job to do. You are highly recommended. Some of you, I didn't know you in person, but I have a lot of faith that you are going to do a fantastic job. Please, let's clap for this very fantastic team. So because you have now been unveiled, go and shine. And you know, if you are given small opportunity, the Bible says, for those who are going to be faithful in the little, more will be added. You know, there are people in ministries and governments that you give somebody a small responsibility, they start complaining of how, oh, this place is small, I am a big man, I have a lot of experience, and so forth. In the end, they do absolutely nothing. But there are those who are given small responsibility, and this is not small, it's big. But, you know, it may look small to some people, but it's your opportunity to shine and make a difference in this country and make the future of our daughters, our sisters, become great and create an opportunity for them to contribute more to our country. Because you have been unveiled or you have been launched, and that's on a light note, because in Kenya, seeing how, maybe I should put a tape here and launch you guys literally. I've seen the memes and the jokes about launching across, but really we are trying as much as possible to keep the promises that we give to the people of Kenya. And some may delay, some will do it immediately, but we do not intend to lie to anybody. Yeah, our job is to make sure that we achieve that we promise the people of Kenya, and we are doing it slowly and by step. I know some people are impatient about, and rightly so, the population is impatient because people need services. But as we move forward, we want to assure Kenyans every promise we make, we will make sure that we deliver. Every promise I made, I will do my best to make sure that in this ministry, I keep that promise and make sure to deliver. Now, let me invite, in a very informal manner, without any protocols being followed, I want to invite Madam Catherine to say a few remarks. Please come. Yeah? Clap for her. I'll be standing here. Just come. Yeah. Just come. You know, these people of disciplined forces, they are very, very rigid. But, you know, sports and then disciplined forces, they become, and I believe that she did a good job before, and she's going to do a good job going forward. Karibu Catherine. Please say something. Sema kitu.
Thank you, sir. Our CS, Honorable Murkomen, CS Sports, Youth and Heritage, our PS, Ministry of Sports, and all CEO Sports Fund, all the CEOs are present. Around me, protocol observed. This morning, I just want to say that I'm very, very grateful to stand in your midst. Thank you very much. I was saying that I'm very, very grateful to be in your midst. And first of all, our CS, I want just to say thank you very much to the head of this nation, because it is through you, through your ministry, that sportsmen and women are being honored and even being thought of. And standing at the front of you, I am here to represent all of them. And I say that I am the voice of the voiceless. What's the problem with this thing? I can even hide it. I can even just hold it. Can I have to hold? Yeah. No, it's okay. I can easily hold it. And I said that I'm here, very proud and ready to work and to represent all the sportsmen and women. Not only the sportsmen and women, because we know that the world is hurting, and our CS and everybody present here, and even those who will be watching. I'm here to say that I am committed to be the voice of the voiceless, to say that GBV has to end. GBV has to end, and because we don't want to see a majority of our sportsmen and women losing their hard-earned wealth or money. I do understand what it costs for someone to get something out of sports. It means that you sell your blood, and the minute someone gets to snatch something from a sports person, it's just like taking a pint of blood from their body and put it down there. So, CS, thank you very much. I'm here and I'm fully committed and ready to work. Thank you very much.
Pigeni makofi, Catherine. Yeah, I'm sure if to run, it's just terrible. Do you know to run only 5 kilometers? Wajana 500 meters. Hata nyinyi mko hapa tuwaambie saizi said go. Mutayama tu. Alafu kuna mtu anakaa nyumbani anangojea mtu to run 100 meters. You need to read these things. To run 100 meters, only 100 meters, requires someone to have trained, I don't know how many times, attempting the same 100 meters. Now just imagine a marathoner like Catherine and many others we know in the country, to run 42 kilometers. That person, I was told by one that you run not less than 150 kilometers a week. A week, training, a week. Yeah? 200, yeah? Yeah, experts. So that 200 and? A minimum of 200 kilometers per week. Per week. You know, sometimes you see people sitting on TV and saying, I say this because I schooled in St. Patrick's. While some of us were still sleeping, our friends who were athletes are out by 4 in the morning to go and start running from 5. By the time we are waking up so that we go for breakfast, that person has completed running. They are now changing to go to class with us. You know? And then at 4 in the evening, they go what they call a light run. Somebody has done in the morning 30 kilometers. Then in the evening he tells you, I'm doing a 15-kilometer light run. So that in a day, he has done about 55 kilometers. Na wewe umekalia blanketi hapo unangojea pesa yake. You know, it's very painful, by the way. It sounds like it's very, very painful. Yeah? Very painful. I'm telling you. So for those men who are hanging around Eldoret, Kapsabet, Iten, yeah, Ngong Hills, just looking for the next big thing to prey on their wealth. And I want, Diana, I want you and your team, and you being a lawyer, we have to find a way. It's okay. It's okay. You had the only one job of dealing with a microphone. Yeah? The only one small job. You do not do it. So we can help you by holding the mic. I want you, we have to work also with the judiciary. There has to be a way we must speak to the Chief Justice, yeah, and the judiciary team, even using Judiciary Training Institute. These cases that involve fighting for, an athlete is fighting for a return of their resources because their husband, who in quotes when they were younger became a husband just for purpose of getting their money, and now they've run away with their wealth. The courts must take judicial notice. Must take judicial notice. If it is so obvious, rather obvious, that this one was a coach or pretending to be a manager, and now the lady cannot access money from her wealth, her investment, because somebody now thinks that they must co-own that money, co-own that wealth, there must be, the principle of contribution is not enough. The courts must take judicial notice of the circumstance that this lady is operating in, and either expeditiously decide the cases or allow them to access their money. And you know, I'm speaking and I have cases in my mind because I know, as I told you, some of these good ladies have confided in me. And we must find ways through this of helping. So thank you, Catherine, for reminding everyone here that it is like just literally sucking blood from an athlete for you to just come and sit somewhere and run away with their money. I want to invite briefly, so that it doesn't look like it's a women-only committee, Professor Ocheng, who was part of this committee, to just say a few words. Don't come with a big speech. I see you are looking for a speech. There is not a clap for Professor Ocheng. Please, Prof, a few remarks.
It's normally very tricky after your bosses have spoken for you to speak. But anyway, thank you very much, Waziri, for the opportunity. So to also the PS, to my colleagues here in the committee, ladies and gentlemen, mine will be very brief, just to commend you, Waziri, for reviving this committee. And I'm happy you've quoted some of the data that we got. At that time, we got very well funded. We went around the country. And what we found was quite sad. Those statistics you've quoted are true, and they can be backed by primary data that we got. And in summary of what we found out is that there was a lot of tokenism that was being done to women, whereby you find in some federations the position that was given for gender protection was more or less reporting to a member of the committee. So you find that if that member was found culpable, he would of course hash the whole thing in the board. So there were many things that we came up with. I'm glad you've mentioned them. I'll not go into that. Thank you very much. But most important is the goodwill we got at that time. There's a lot of goodwill to stop GBV in sports. Just to name a few, during the conference, I was very impressed by AK. They managed to invite the biggest sports management company in the world, Golazo. They came in, they called Nike all the way from Oregon because they were very concerned that GBV was denying them their athletes. We got a speech from His Excellency, the President, Uhuru Kenyatta at that time, sent it to us. And none other than that, we got also a recorded speech from the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, who happened to have share the name with the then CS Amina Mohammed. She also called Amina Mohammed. So there's a lot of goodwill, and I'm very impressed that you've chosen us. I'm very happy and I'm willing to serve, and I look forward to a happy working time. The federations were very cooperative. Much as we had a 100-day plan that we didn't deliver collectively, but individually, federations managed to do something. And I'm impressed by the milestones some have done, and I look forward to just us working and giving the country. So I'm ready to serve. Asante sana, Waziri.
Thank you very much, Prof, for being brief and also to the point. PK Makofi. I'd like to call Diana to say just a few words as a representative of this, the Secretariat. Then work begins from there. You do your plans, you do everything that we need to do. With the support of the ministry, I believe you should be able to achieve what we need to do. Good to see you. Yeah.
Honorable CS Murkomen, I want to seek to stand on the already established protocols. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to us as the Secretariat. For many years, I've been involved in the SGBV space, and the situation is actually more scary. We've seen that sexual gender-based violence has morphed from something physical, and we are even having female athletes experiencing things such as doxing, where someone gives all your personal details or shares naked photos. And we are also having seen a lot of financial abuse. And this is not only limited to female athletes, but women who ordinarily the society would not seek to protect. So we thank the CS and the PS for this wonderful opportunity. And one of the things that we will focus on, as well as giving legal aid, is the issue of the life skills, so that we train our female athletes, we also train our male athletes, because gender goes both ways. It's the women who need protection now, but also soon it'll be the men. And we hope that we will look at the laws, we'll also look at the social aspect, we'll work with the judiciary. NCAGA has a committee that is reviewing the laws. We'll also work with the civil society in everything and ensure that we take a multi-agency approach in everything that we do. So I want to thank the CS for this honor and hand over the program back to you.
Pigia Makofi, Diana. All the best, guys. Your work is cut out. Yeah, thank you very much, and may God bless you. Okay. So we stand chini ama wapi? So hard. Come on.